You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And welcome back. You are listening to Loudbeard Sports. I am your host, Loudbeard, and with me, as always, is the beautiful, the one and only, the...
DD.
That's right. My designated driver is with me, and she is the best at getting me home safely in those sticky predicaments when I may have drank a little bit too much. So, DD, welcome aboard. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great on this Monday evening, night, afternoon,
All right.
fortnight.
So, as Dee Dee mentioned, it is Monday night. We always record our shows on Monday nights.
Monday.
And then we drop the new episodes on Tuesday morning. So you can always catch us at scoutteamradio.com.
It's on the same schedule as Loudbeard's poop schedule.
My poop schedule is really regular.
Yeah.
And you can catch us at iTunes. We're on that, on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. We're on a bunch of different spots, but that's enough about us. Let's get into what we really like to get into, and that is, first and foremost, our top 5 of the week.
Wee-oo.
This week's top 5 is the worst coaches in college football for 2017.
We had to clarify.
That's right, just 2017, not of all time.
Right, there's been some bad coaches, but we're just focusing on the worst of the worst in 2017.
All right, number 5, we've got Lane Kiffin. Not because his record was that bad, just because he's Lane Kiffin. Number 4.
Is he lame at kissing?
He's lame kissing.
No, lame at kissing.
Number 4, Mike Riley. He sucked in Nebraska. He sucked so bad that Nebraska had to poach our UCF Knights.
They stole him.
Stole him right out from under us.
How dare they?
Number 3, Butch Jones. He was so terrible at Tennessee, and now Tennessee is a garbage dumpster fire extraordinaire, and they are screwing everything up with coaching.
No one even talks about them anymore.
Well, and if they do, it's not good.
Right.
Number 2, Coach McElwain from the Florida Gators. He's just awful.
McElwain, that's how you pronounce that. It looked like Masawin.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's McElwain.
McElwain.
Yep, it's McElwain.
Masalawain.
And number 1, the dirtbag of the highest order, Jimbo Fisher formerly of the Florida State Seminoles. Now he's gone out to Texas.
You go on to Texas.
So that's our top 5 of the week.
All my exes are in Texas.
I had to go a little coaching theme, a little college football theme. We had so much going on in college football this past couple weeks. It is just unbelievable. Great to talk about. So I'll get into some of the college football. That's a great starting point for us, right, Dee Dee?
Right, because it's thebomb.com.
All right, so our terrible coach over at Florida State, even though he's won a national championship, he done them dirty over there at Florida State. So
he's done them dirty.
So he's got to go. Now FSU, they're starting to flirt with some new coaches, you know?
Yeah, they're like speed dating.
Right, they're swiping. I don't know if it's left or right. Yeah,
swiping right.
Swiping right over there at Florida State. They're like, who's going to be the next Jimbo Fisher?
Who's going to be the next? You're not it. Swipe left. Oh, you look like a good potential candidate. Definitely swipe right. That's basically what's happening over at the committee.
It's like when those old guys make the funny joke like, oh, that could be my future ex-wife.
Yeah.
So the Florida State Seminoles right now, they're like, oh, that could be our future ex-coach.
Yeah, the quote-unquote funny jokes.
Yeah, that's a dad joke.
That's a dad joke.
Oh, yeah. So FSU's looking at Oregon's coach, Willie Taggart. So Taggart's a hot coaching candidate right now in Florida State. They're kind of getting a little hot and heavy over there. It's getting more than flirting. There might be some first base action, but they haven't gone too far.
Oh?
Yeah, they haven't gotten...
they haven't met the parents yet.
Yeah, that's next. I guess.
It's getting serious.
Yeah, it's getting real serious. Arizona Sun Devils, they introduced their new coach. They picked up Herm Edwards. He is the legendary You play to win the game. That's right. Herm Edwards, the great guy that we like to quote, former Chiefs coach, former Jets coach, former four-letter network analyst. He is back into coaching. So good for him. Hopefully he can revitalize that program and give it something that it needs. So that's kind of it on the coaching front there with college football. What else is going on? That's right. The finalists for the Heisman Trophy have been named. No surprises here. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Bryce Love. I had some bold predictions at the beginning of the year that Lamar Jackson would go back-to-back with Heisman Trophy awards. Now, he is a finalist back-to-back years, so he won it last year. Now he's a finalist. But I think we all believe that Baker Mayfield has this in the bag. Now, I personally think Bryce Love should be getting a little bit more love than he's getting.
Where is he from? I know Baker Mayfield's Oklahoma, right?
Yes. That is correct.
Oklahoma. So where's Lamar Jackson?
Louisville.
And then where's... I know someone committed there. Anyways, where's Bryce Love?
He is from Stanford.
Where's
the love? And the funny part is I don't see Saquon Barkley on this list. So early in the year, we're week 6. We're talking about college football. We're saying Saquon Barkley's the guy. He's going to win the Heisman. And he kind of just disappears out of our life.
Who's Saquon? He's from UCF?
Penn State. Now, I have heard some rumors, not rumors. I've heard people give a good argument that Mackenzie Milton, the quarterback of UCF, should have had consideration for Heisman. But again, there's a little bit of this elitist thing going on. There's no way a non-Power 5 team could have a Heisman candidate. Come on.
No way. No non-Power 5 team could go 12-0.
I mean, how dare they go undefeated? It obviously doesn't mean anything.
Obviously. We're not even going to rank them. We're not going to rank them well, and we're not going to put them in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. So your buddy Bryce Love over there, he had a big game this past weekend. He was going up, him and Stanford were going up against USC. Not your South Carolina Gamecocks, the other USC, which is the Southern California. The Trojans.
California.
They're Trojans.
Trojans, the fancy version.
So USC, a lot of predictions out there said they couldn't hang with Stanford. Bryce Love was so hot that he was coming into this game with a lot of momentum. And Sam Darnold, again, he wasn't that great of a quarterback this year. We thought he was going to be the slam dunk #1 overall pick. But he actually played really great and carried USC to a 31-28 victory. Guys pulled it together. He may have started out the year a little rough, has some interception problems, but dude has pulled it together. So good for him. USC with that big win. They end up becoming the Pac-12 champions, which is awesome. But it didn't really mean anything because they couldn't get into that top 4 playoff spot.
Right. It looks like no one can.
I know. I mean, next on our list here is the UCF-Memphis game. I mean, How can you beat a ranked team and have the #1 scoring offense in the nation and be the only undefeated team and not even get any consideration for playoff?
Right, it's a load of baloney.
It is a load of baloney.
A load of baloney.
I mean, it's like a loaded bologna sandwich, loaded with shit.
Good one.
Yep. So I had the fortune of being able to go to this UCF-Memphis game, which has been probably by far the best game I've ever seen live.
Right. We've some reason always get to go to the bad games.
Yeah.
Either both teams are playing crappy, one team are playing crappy. I don't know. We just get the short end of the stick. But this one was pretty good. Yeah,
this one was pretty good. I can't complain. I got a chance to bring my sister who was visiting from out of town to the game. It was her first college football experience, so probably the best way to start somebody off on a college football experience is to take them to that game.
Right.
So UCF, Memphis, they go into double overtime. There was a couple suspicious delay of game calls that happened.
Right.
So Memphis goes and kicks it. It gets blocked, and they're like, wait a second, delay a game. Memphis gets to kick it again. I think the point of a penalty is to hurt the team that commits the penalty, not help them.
Right.
How does that work?
I don't understand. And then there was a pass interference, but it would have resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah,
Did you remember that?
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, he's gonna score. Let me just throw him down.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things that were going on. One, I hate the refs.
Little fish, yeah, refs
Everywhere.
All refs. I don't
They're all-
understand where they find these guys.
They're all terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they find them either. But the good news, in double overtime, UCF does come away with the win with a perfect season. And now they are going to be going off to the Peach Bowl. So
Woohoo!
congratulations to my UCF Knights. And yes, I can say that I am a UCF Knight, not a Golden Knight.
An alumni.
I am an alumni. People out there like Mac Scout Team on Twitter, if you ever hit that guy up on Twitter, give him shit. They're not the Golden Knights. Just please do so for me. I promise you it's worth it.
It's not the Golden Knights.
So, another good game we had this past week. I guess it wasn't really a good game. Oklahoma, TCU. We're thinking that TCU is going to put up a fight, but Oklahoma stomped them.
We were so wrong.
The front runner for the Heisman hopes, Baker Mayfield, does what Baker Mayfield does, and that is play an amazing game. 41 points up against 17 for TCU, so they get their championship. So conference championships for USC, UCF, Oklahoma. Great job out there for those guys. Ohio State wins their championship game. They beat Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, eh?
Yep, and Wisconsin was the other undefeated team.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing something on Twitter where it was like the two of them, and it was like undefeated teams after these games, and then like the Wisconsin logo blew up, and then like the UCF
just
one
UCF.
enlarged. It was very monumental.
It was. And you know what? That hurt their conference quite a bit. Big Ten doesn't get a team into the championship. Now, as far as the Pac-12, Pac-12 was a little bit of a down year for them. I mean, USC had a good year, but some of the other teams out there, Washington, they didn't play up to their hype. Stanford, a couple losses early in the year that were pretty tough losses. So Ohio State champions in their conference, and they're not making it to the big top four into the playoffs. Now, they squeaked in last year not being a conference champion, and then this year they are a conference champion, and they can't get in. So they can't really complain because it worked for them last year, didn't work for them this year. Alabama ends up squeaking in. And I wanted to apologize to everybody out there. If you heard some barking in the background, it's because we've got this bulldog, and that bulldog likes to bark a lot. Her name's Wendy. But the Georgia Bulldogs, they went out and dominated the Auburn Tigers this week.
They did. That did happen. That
So-
was the thing.
Auburn could have been in the playoffs, and they missed out, and now they're going to have to go up against the juggernaut known as the UCF Knights.
The juggernaut.
That's right, they are the juggernaut.
The juggernaut. Yeah. Well, who was in the Peach Bowl last year? I didn't know these bowl games were like different every year. I
It's
thought
confusing. The bowl game thing is super confusing.
Yeah, like I thought they were the same thing every year because isn't the Iron Bowl always Auburn, Alabama?
Yeah, but that's not a real bowl game. That's kind of one of those games that comes where they play each other every year. It's like a rivalry week thing that
Yeah.
happens. So the championship 4 is going to be Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, and Clemson. So Clemson and Alabama, they get to go and battle each other again in the playoffs. This is 3 years in a row. The last 2 were for the national championships, which they split. And this year, they are going in the semifinals against each other. So could be a good matchup. Who do you got, Dee Dee?
I think it's Auburn and Georgia, correct?
Well, I was talking about Clemson and Alabama, but
That's what I meant.
yeah.
Clemson and Alabama. I think Clemson. I hate to say that, but I think Clemson, or at least it'll be like a good matchup.
I think so too. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Clemson they're coming in hot. Kelly Bryant, their quarterback, is playing the best ball of his young career. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I just have this like small hunch that Alabama's going to really show up.
I mean, it could be like they're going to show up to this game is going to be amazing. And we're like, hey, this is why we're here, because we're the best at what we do. And then everyone will be like, oh, that makes sense why they're in the playoffs. But then if they lose like it's just gonna kind of be like, well, why the heck were they even put in there in the first place? Kind of know what I mean?
Oh, well, that's what happened. I think that's one of the things that Ohio State Ohio Stated themselves last year is they snuck into the playoffs and then got smoked like 31-0.
Right.
And so then you're like, well, maybe they shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Right. Like maybe we should have put someone else that was probably better qualified for this game.
And that's what happened this year.
Right.
So Alabama sneaks in, but I think Alabama, Nick Saban always coaches his team up, and they're coming off that big loss to Auburn, so they're going to have kind of a chip on their shoulder. And they lost to Clemson in the national championship game last year. So they have a lot to play for and a lot to show the world that they are a better team. So I think it's exciting that they're going to be matching up with each other. So on the flip side of it, you've got Oklahoma and Georgia. Who do you got in that game?
I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
All right, good. We're differing here.
Underdogs.
I'm going with Baker Mayfield and the Oklahoma Sooners. I think Baker Mayfield's just kind of got that special quality about him this year. He's really going to make a difference in this game and be the reason why the Sooners pull off the victory. All right, so now that the college season's over, we've got the championship playoffs coming up, so we're excited about that. There are a lot of other really great bowls out there, so we're just going to do a quick rapid fire. You tell me who you think's going to win. I'll tell you who I think's going to win, and we'll go from there. So, a couple of the big bowls we've got. Tax Slayer Bowl, which is a terrible name. Mississippi State versus Louisville. Who you got, Dee?
I got Mississippi State.
All right, I got to go Louisville. Lamar Jackson, he's my guy. I picked them to be a top 5 at the beginning of the year, even though they've let me down. Memphis, Iowa State.
Memphis.
They're playing in the Liberty Bowl. Yeah, I got to go Memphis. Memphis is better than people think.
They're a really good team.
Iowa State's hanging their hat on like one win this year. That was like a huge win for them. I still think Memphis is a better team. Let's go Memphis. So Fiesta Bowl, you got Penn State versus Washington.
Penn State.
Good choice, Penn State. Saquon Barkley's got something to show. He's he's feeling a little slighted in this whole Heisman deal. And Penn State's really a great team. Washington, I always thought was overrated. Again, Pac-12, kind of a down year for them. Orange Bowl, you got Miami versus Wisconsin. This should be a fun game.
I think Miami.
I'm gonna have to differ with you. I'm thinking Wisconsin. Wisconsin had this undefeated season that they just kind of let slip out of their hands. Even though it was a good matchup with them in Ohio State, Miami, they just look bad the last few weeks.
Yeah.
They had a bad loss this past weekend. I can't really go Miami.
Yeah, maybe that's true, but maybe they'll work hard in practice. They'll come out to the game and they'll be like, "Look, we were sucking for a while, but now we're back on track." So maybe they'll surprise us.
I hope so. We'll see. You never know. I mean, it's good to see the state of Florida have good teams because Florida and Florida State had let us down this year. So Miami, UCF, USF have to carry that torch. Some of the New Year's Day games, we got the Outback Bowl. So Michigan versus South Carolina. Your Gamecocks.
South Carolina.
We got to go Gamecocks. Big Gamecock fans over here. Peach Bowl, as we mentioned, Auburn versus UCF.
UCF.
Go Knights.
Woo!
Citrus Bowl, Notre Dame versus LSU.
LSU.
Yeah, I got to go LSU also. I love Coach Ed Orgeron. That's how he talks.
That's how he talks?
Yeah,
just
he talks like that. Yeah.
Does he have that, like, really, really thick,
the Cajun accent?
Raging Cajun accent?
I'm Ed Orgeron.
It's just like a low, like, grumble. No offense, but that's, like, how else are you supposed to describe it? That's how it is.
That's true. Couple other good games. I'm just trying to look down the list here and see if there's anything else worth mentioning.
Military Bowl.
Man, I don't know. Virginia
Yeah,
Navy. Got to go Navy.
Navy.
They got that really fun, exciting triple option offense. I think Navy's going to squeak out a win against Virginia. They're the better team. Let's see. In the Loma Bowl, you've got Stanford versus TCU. That should be a fun game. You got Bryce Love up against Kenny Football. Let's see who can score the most points.
We'll see.
Big yawn. I like it.
I know,
I'm glad I'm keeping you excited here.
I was trying to talk and yawned at the same time and just got awkward.
All right. So Wake Forest is playing Texas A&M.
I got to go with Wake Forest.
Yeah, I hope Texas A&M never wins another game after Jimbo Fisher signing on for that 10-year giant contract.
10 years?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth.
All right, Cotton Bowl, you got Ohio State versus USC.
What?
So I think
no,
Ohio
I thought
State's got to take the win.
when you said USC, I'm thinking,
In
wait,
South Carolina.
I just said South Carolina, but no, you mean the other second USC.
That's what I'm talking about. So I don't know if you hear this jingling. That means it's time to open up our beers. Ah, that's right. We've got our...
Got it on my white tablecloth.
That's right. It's the beer of the week. I don't know about your white tablecloth. I don't know anything about that.
Oh my goodness, it did! It got on my tablecloth.
Oh, snap.
I'm so upset.
Oh, snap.
It's gonna stain.
It is going to stain. It's okay. We could get you some stain out.
I used all the stain remover.
Oh, this is not good.
No,
This is not good at all.
This is so bad.
This is live, folks. We don't have anything to control it. All I can do is talk about my beer. I actually got the New Belgium accumulation because it had a really cool trailer on the front of the beer bottle, and it's got a bunch of snow around it. We live here in
Very
Central Florida.
Christmassy.
It's Christmassy. We don't get snow. There's snowflakes on the bottle. It's a white India Pale Ale, and I'm taking my first sip right now while Dee Dee describes her beer.
And then I have a birch beer. It's like a root beer, but I guess they said birch because they wanted it to sound more like authentic and rustic. I mean, it's red colored, kind of. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of vanilla in here or something. I don't really know too much about it. Loudbeard got it here for me. It has 3 horses on the front with some cowboys, but the cowboy on the front has a sword, which doesn't really make sense if that doesn't... No correlation, but it's from how do you say that? Sioux City? Sioux City?
Sioux City.
Sioux City.
No,
All
it's
right.
not Sioux City. Sioux City? Sioux City. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It just tastes like a root beer. Very refreshing.
All right. So that's our beer and our Sioux City birch beer of the week. So we're both enjoying it. My accumulation is really good. It goes down smooth. It doesn't have that bitter, hoppy bite like a normal IPA does. The white IPA is a little bit more mellow, and it's a very nice wintry blend. Gotta love it. Gonna keep drinking my beer and be super excited about it. So we did our beer of the week. We're talking college football. What else could we possibly do right now that would be freaking awesome? Beard. Babyface. That's right. It's our beard and babyface of the week. I keep saying of the week. Let's just do beard and babyface. That's all we're doing is our beard and babyface. So I've got a special babyface tonight. This man used to be the number 1 golfer in the entire world for a very, very, very long time. But guess what? Tiger Woods is kind of, sort of, maybe almost back.
That was a lot of adjectives. No, not really adjectives. Verbs.
I don't know. Are you going to school?
I am, but I haven't.
Do you have your education yet?
I have my education, but we don't go over all that stuff. I haven't learned that since I was in elementary school. So go public education.
So Tiger Woods is my baby face. That's right. Tiger Woods getting back in the mix. He had his Hero World Challenge, and he's played his best golf that he's played in probably 3 years. And it looked like he didn't have a lot of pain. He's been struggling with that back injury for a while. He looked like he was playing pretty good, and he had a little bit of a rough Saturday, shot a couple over, but then bounced back with a really strong finish on Sunday. I think he finished 7th in the tournament. I didn't write it down. I read it earlier. I apologize. I don't have the exact facts in front of me. I probably should look it up on my fax
machine.
Fax machine. I was going to say that. Hashtag fax machine. But not
to
like
be confused with facts.
FAX. Yeah, FAX and FACTS. Hashtag fax machine.
Hashtag facts. Or you maybe just, he's been playing so bad the past couple of times we've seen him. Maybe just because of that, he looked amazing because he was playing actually good golf.
Well, he went from being like 1,100 and something in the world, and he jumps like 500 spots to be like 600 and something in the world.
Oh.
Just from one tournament. And
Okay.
that and the fact that he used to be the best golfer in the world.
Right.
No question
No
asked.
question.
He's up there on the Mount Rushmore of golfers.
Mount Rushmore.
Yep. Him and Jack Nicklaus are leading the way there on the Mount Rushmore. But guess what? We got to have a beard also.
A beard.
And somebody in the NFL who has a really awesome beard that I want to give recognition to as our beard would be Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is a wide receiver for the San Diego Chargers.
San Diego. Ooh.
It's San Diego. I was going to say a quote from a really good movie, but
I probably wouldn't get it because, you're old.
a whale's vagina.
What?
Look it up.
What movie? Is it some old people movie?
Anchorman.
I've never seen that.
Okay. You should see it. That's embarrassing. This
Sorry.
is going to go live on the intranet.
The internet. I'm going to be...
The interweb.
There's going to be mobs and riots in the street.
There already are.
Oh, shoot. They're
So
knocking down our door.
Keenan Allen is our beard of the week. Keenan had 3 weeks in a row of 10-plus catches, and the best news of it all is his San Diego Chargers went from the depths of despair with an 0-4 start of the NFL season, and now he's jumping back in. He's playing his best ball. Old man Phillip Rivers is playing great ball, and they are back in the playoff hunt.
They're back, baby.
They are looking phenomenal, and San Diego is my dark horse to make it deep into the playoffs on this AFC side. So good for him. I guess that will carry us over into some NFL talk. Let's see what we got going on in the NFL. Actually, no, before we go NFL, I do have one story that I want to bring up.
Oh, shoot.
Just because you're on our show, Dee Dee, I think we should do a little soccer talk.
Oh, wow. How generous and how kind and thoughtful.
I'm pretty much the nicest person you've ever met.
Yeah.
So you know who
Definitely.
isn't nice?
Who?
The dude that cut off Lionel Messi's legs on his statue in Buenos Aires. So the statue, Lionel Messi's got this really cool bronze statue, probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And it just recently sustained some vandalism, and it's the second time this year, but this time what they did is they removed both of the legs of the statue.
That's just funny that it was the legs, because, he's a soccer player. So
Hey, you got to cut them off where it counts, right?
I know. It's funny, but it's not funny, because now they're going to have to replace that, because obviously they're going to replace it, and that's just going to cost a lot of money.
I need to put like a cage around it or something.
Right, but I don't know. They need to catch whoever did this, which is highly unlikely. But
They need to do something. But I thought it was funny. I was looking through some of my source material that I have for the show, and I'm like, wait a second. Dee Dee loves soccer talk. And maybe we should have a little soccer talk section. And when I saw the Messi news come up, I thought this would be perfect. Absolutely perfect.
News.
That is Messi news.
Messi news, all right.
All right, so we're going to get into ourselves some good old-fashioned NFL talk. We talked a little Keenan Allen. Our Chargers are looking fantastic. And let's see, what other news is going on in the NFL, Dee Dee? Did you see that Gronkowski hit?
I don't even know who Gronkowski is.
You don't know who the Gronk is?
No.
He's the greatest
Gronk
partier.
from Emperor's New Groove?
Yes. He's the
Heck
greatest partier ever to play in the NFL. Well, I guess...
Wait, that makes up the greatest partier?
Yeah, he's the greatest...
He's known for partying.
Yes. He has his own booze cruise that he sponsors, the Gronk Cruise.
Oh, good Lord.
He's like one of those guys that you would see on like Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
But he's in the NFL.
But, oh, God, it's like... What the situation times 2.
Yeah, it's times 20.
Times 20, right?
Yeah, he is a situation. And the situation he got himself into this week, he got the ball intercepted on a pass that was thrown to him.
Oh, good Lord.
It wasn't necessarily his fault, but he got a little pissed off about it, and he came and just jumped down and kind of did this threw a forearm shiver right into this guy, back of this guy's head.
Shiver?
Yeah, I think it caused him to be concussed.
Oh, my gosh.
And Gronk is now suspended for 1 game for this late hit.
Right.
And I've seen things on Twitter where guys are like, man, he should have gotten 3 or 4 games because this was dirty.
Right. So he just basically hit the guy in the back of the head, right? Is that what you were explaining?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, I had to clarify what a shiver was.
Well, you put the forearm right in their back of their head. It's a shiver.
Okay, I did not know that because I haven't had to fight anyone recently.
All right. So as far as some of the games that happened this past week, the Giants played the Raiders, which nobody really gives a shit about. Giants lose. The best part about that game is our good friend Ben McAdoo. McCaw. He's a good friend of the show. He lost his job.
What?
And so going into the game, there was news like within 24 hours, Ben McAdoo will be fired. So imagine going to coach a game knowing that afterwards you're going to be fired.
Yeah, you wouldn't want, you have no incentive to do anything then.
Yeah, right after the game, they were asking him about it in the press conference, and he's kind of like, well, I still have a job right now, so I'm going to just keep coaching until I don't have a job anymore. And then,
Lord.
a couple hours later, unemployment line.
Headlines, unemployed. What's he going to do now?
I don't know, but he's got the best greased back hair. He could be a hair model.
Ew, no. That's the opposite of what you want.
No, I mean, he looks good, and he's got like a little handlebar mustache. Looks like a...
That's disgusting.
He could be like he could be on Super Troopers, the sequel that's coming out. He would be good, too. He would fit right in. He's quite the character. GM of the Giants also gets canned, Jerry Reese. And Eli Manning's back starting again, so the world is back to a normal place.
It's back normal, except the streak is gone.
The streak is gone. The owner of the Giants comes out and says that it was just an utter embarrassment, everything that went on for New York. So he knew that they had to go ahead and get rid of it and cut ties and clean house, wholesale changes. It was unbelievable. So that was kind of the news there for the Giants. Tonight we got the Steelers and Bengals playing, so that should be a good game. It's going on right now as we speak. Thursday night game, Redskins-Cowboys, we're not going to talk about because F the Cowboys. Some of the other Sunday games that were pretty good. Vikings beat the Falcons.
Okay.
Because the Eagles lose. Vikings are now number 1 in the NFC, so good for them. Those guys are on a heater right now, so they got to keep it rolling. Ravens stomped the Lions. Surprisingly enough, the Ravens just became a really good team quietly, even with a shitty quarterback. Patriots blow out the Bills. Bills still suck. Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. Nothing's going good for them. 49ers start Jimmy Garoppolo, and they get their win under him for the first time, and he comes back and beats the mighty Chicago Bears.
By 1 point.
It was a blowout.
Ooh.
All right, the Packers and the Bucks go into overtime. This is a pretty shitty game. Nothing good there.
Nada.
Yep, Jaguars stomp the Colts. The Saxonville Jaguars continue to sack the crap out of other teams. Their opposing teams are scared to death of these guys. They're being led by Calais Campbell. Go Jaguars, man. I gotta like that.
Yeah.
Broncos are garbage still. They lose to the Dolphins. Dolphins are not a good team. Broncos are an even worse team.
Oh, good pairing.
Yep. Chiefs, they are unbelievable. I don't even know what to say here. They start out 5-0.
They're going on a downward spiral. That's basically all you can say.
And now they're out of control.
Right. They can't help it.
They can't. They can't help it at all. Cleveland Browns. And that's all I can say about that.
That was an intentional pause because there's really nothing you can say. They're just that bad.
Their highlight was being able to start Josh Gordon, who's been out of the league for a couple years after having some of those addiction problems that he was having. So now he's back. So that's a good story, and he actually looked pretty good. I think he had like 80 yards in receiving yards. But they went up against the mighty Chargers. Like I mentioned on our Beards section, the Chargers are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Saints, they pull out a victory against their division foe, the Panthers. Saints are rolling, man. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram are the deadliest duo backfield in the NFL right now. Nobody wants to face those guys. Rams beat Cardinals. Rams, same thing. You got a LA Rams team that looks like they're I don't know, unstoppable. You know why? It's their coach.
It is. A coach makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference, but they stole the coach from the Washington Redskins.
Oh, frick them. Just kidding. The coach doesn't make the difference. Give him back.
You know what it is Sean McVay was the offensive coordinator, so we gave him a shot as offensive coordinator, and then he did so well, the Rams are like, we need a good coach like you. And he's going up there, lighting it up. I'm not going to really go over any NBA because once college football settles down, there's going to be plenty of time to talk about some
NBA talk.
Because there's a lot of LeVar, LaMelo, and Lonzo talk to be going over. Yeah, Lonzo the Clown. We can talk about them all we want. But I'm tired of talking. I'm loud. I have a beard. It's beautiful.
We talked about sports.
We talked lots about sports. Lots about it.
And now we just need some comedic relief.
I don't know about you, but I could really use a good laugh right about now.
And it sounds like it's time for dad jokes. In the middle of the street, dad jokes. In the paint aisle of Home Depot, dad jokes. In the garden section at Lowe's, dad jokes. Boom.
All right, I'm excited,
Okay.
Dee Dee.
So, dad joke, the jolly dad joke section, since we are in December now. Number 1, what kind of food does your toe eat?
I don't know.
Doritos. Ooh, getting fancy.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
That was my laugh. I made that up.
Yeah, that's you. Live recording. Number 2, I've got a great construction joke. Well, actually, I'm working on it.
Nah.
That sounded more like your real laugh.
Damn, Dee Dee, you're harsh.
Number 3, what did one earthquake say to the other?
I don't know. What did it?
What's crack-a-lackin'? That was a really long applause.
That was really good. That's why that applause was so long.
Yeah. Thank you.
I might cut that down in editing.
Yeah, that might be cut down.
All right, well, we want to thank everybody for listening in. It's been another great edition of Loudbeard Sports, and we appreciate everybody listening. And as always, this scout is
out.